Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. As always, it is Nick here, back to your daily crypto news and analysis. And today we are going to be talking about Ripple and XRP, as well as the vast majority of crypto and finance. And with that being said, I hope that you are all having a beautiful day or a beautiful night, wherever you guys are out there in the world. We recently saw Blackrock CEO Larry Fink addressing Ethereum ETFs. Now, everyone is going crazy about the possibility of an XRP ETF being released. And again, I don't understand the whole idea of why we are, sitting here saying, oh, we want an ETF from BlackRock. We want an ETF for XRP and Ethereum and Bitcoin. And hell, why even stop there? Have an ETF for everything. This to me is just ridiculous. I feel as though a lot of people are not thinking clearly on these ETFs. Again, I don't really care for them. I've talked about this many times in the past. I feel as though we are just giving up control of the market to the Wall Street players like BlackRock that have manipulated markets for years and years and years. But here we have them talking about how they see value in having an Ethereum ETF. Now, will we see an XRP ETF? We don't know. Me personally, I hope that we don't. And I've already talked about this. I think that it will create value in the short term in terms of like pumping the price of XRP. But in the long term, what will really happen from this? You have the biggest market manipulators out there jumping into this space heavily and talking about ETFs. And it's because they make a ton of money off of them. I mean, think about how much they're going to collect off of the fees for the Bitcoin ETF. And from those fees, what they will see is they'll say, well, you know what? How much can we make off of Ethereum? How much can we make off of XRP? But it also creates manipulation. That's all it is. But I bring this up because I saw this tweet really kind of going around over on X, and it's from Good Morning Crypto. Now, I probably saw the same exact tweet multiple times, but this is from Fox Business. Now, they're asking Larry Fink, Charles Gasparino is, which is kind of comical that Charles Gasparino is because he has been hating on the XRP community for a while. But we have must watch. Is BlackRock launching an XRP ETF? And here we have him asking the question everyone is wondering this afternoon in a conversation with BlackRock CEO Larry Fink. How about an XRP ETF? You know, I can't answer that. The silence speaks volumes, yet the question lingers. Will the United States witness the launch of an XRP ETF in 2024? Check this out.
You see this? Will you do another ETF? How about an XRP ETF? I know you got Ether out there. How about XRP? Can you answer that?
I can't. And you don't want me to.
I do.
Well, I can't.
All right, they're giving me the rap. Thank you. You see this?
Now, again, the big question here is, do we really want an XRP ETF? If we are that oblivious to what's actually going on here, to the point where we are saying, yeah, we want an XRP ETF so that the price can pump, I feel as though we are all missing the actual target. Remember who these people are. Larry Fink is not your friend. BlackRock is not your friend. They don't want you getting rich. It's ridiculous that people are coming to this space now and saying, yeah, we want an ETF for everything. This is going to be mass adoption. No, we don't need these ETFs. Now, if we actually look here, there's been over 1,000 votes. If we even say like safer, so nope, Gary Gensler would never. You could see how many people want this ETF. It's just comical to me. But a lot of people are saying don't want one. Some people are saying, does XRP really need an ETF? Again, like to me, I don't. All right, like listen, if I was a Bitcoin maxi, I would be hopeful for an ETF. Why? Because they need it. I always say this. The reason why Bitcoin gains value is because it's the most talked about crypto. It's the number one crypto, and it has been since the inception. But also remember, they need more people to buy Bitcoin in order for Bitcoin to go up in value. That's why they always tout the idea of store of value for Bitcoin. Outside of that, what value does Bitcoin really have? I mean, who's going to be, paying for a coffee with Bitcoin, for an example? What institution is going to be adopting Bitcoin for internal transactions? No one. That's why XRP doesn't need an ETF. I think an XRP ETF would be ridiculous to say the least. There's a lot more value to XRP and the XRP ledger than there is and will ever be for Bitcoin, in my opinion. But outside of this, I can't believe I'm going to say this. I actually agree with Gary Gensler on this one. There is an irony in the midst of this. Satoshi Nakamoto said this was going to be decentralized system and finance. This has led to centralization. Think about the irony of those who say this week is historic. This was about centralization and traditional means of finance that investors who could already express themselves in Bitcoin could already before this week buy it through major brokerage houses, but now you can buy it through this thing called an ETF, centralized. Big shout out to XRP Drops for this, but listen closely to this clip. It's actually insightful, and it's really kind of quoting my overall thought process on this.
Look, no doubt there are innovations within this field, and those innovations, which I taught about at MIT, around a ledger system. It's just an accounting system called the blockchain technology. But there's an irony in the midst of this. Satoshi Nakamoto said this was going to be a decentralized system. And finance, this has led to centralization. Think about the irony of those who say this week is historic. This was about centralization and traditional means of finance that investors who could already express themselves in Bitcoin, you could already, before this week, buy it through major brokerage houses, but now you can buy it through this thing called an exchange-traded product
but the
as
underlying
well,
asset still has
centralized.
The underlying asset still has the decentralized, distributed ledger, all those characters. That sounds like a, I don't know. That sounds like a...
No, Andrew, with all respect, there's a lot of centralization here, and even the underlying ledger is largely the Bitcoin's produced by a handful of mining companies and the like. And so I'm just saying, now in terms of monetary history, we have a dollar, we have a yen, we have a euro, we have the renminbi, and there's a reason for it because we do have a common economy that relies on those currencies.
Chair Gensler, let me ask you.
Now, again, you know, I really do agree with him on the whole idea of centralization. I mean, we are literally giving up. We're giving up something that was decentralized. Bitcoin, it's questionable if it was ever decentralized with miners and things like that, large holders. We've talked about the DOJ holding a significant amount of Bitcoin. We've talked about, you know, Michael Saylor holding a significant amount of it as well. And the list goes on and on. But at the end of the day, you know, I do feel as though we are succumbing to the idea of greed and giving away the original idea of what this market really did mean. But again, centralization was always going to happen regardless. This is a big move in the right direction simply because it does open doors of avenues, which I've talked about this in the past. I feel as though this is the start of it, though. Everything from this time on is going to get very, very interesting, very, very fast. And you don't even have to take my word for it. Larry Fink, the dominant form of bringing products going forward will be in the form of ETFs. This is from Larry Fink. Check this out. This is going to be a little bit longer of a clip, but it's crucial to understand this information.
And so I would say to you, if we could ETF a Bitcoin, imagine what we could do with all financial instruments. And so what we announced in our architectural change, iShares was this business division in itself. And we thought that's too exclusive. We needed to include the ethos, the philosophy, the spirituality of what iShares can provide in everything we do at Blackrock. Because we believe we're just halfway there in the ETF revolution, that everything is going to be ETF'd. And we needed to ensure both active products, passive products, digital products are going to be used through the vehicle of ETFs. At the same time, in this architectural change, we're elevating the whole concept that we are going to be curating more and more of our performance-based products too. So it's a very large architectural change. A lot of people have asked me, iShares is the most successful division within BlackRock. Look what it did. Why are you doing this now? And we believe it's so important to be anticipating the next move. I would also say on the beginnings of a ETF Bitcoin, we believe ETFs are a technology no different than Bitcoin was a technology for asset storage. We believe the next step going forward will be the tokenization of financial assets. And that means every stock, every bond will have its own, basically, CUSIP. It'll be on one general ledger. Every investor, you and I, will have our own number, our own identification. We could rid ourselves of all issues around illicit activities about bonds and stocks and digital by having a tokenization. But the most importantly thing, we could customize strategies through tokenization that fits every individual. We would have instantaneous settlement. Think about all the costs of settling bonds and stocks. But if you had a tokenization, everything would be immediate because it's just a line item. And so we believe this is a technological transformation for financial assets. I believe if you want to talk about voting and voting choice and all the things, if we know every moment who is the owner of that stock and it's now time to vote, every individual who has ownership is identified and they can vote their own shares.
Is this the end of mutual funds?
I think, well, a lot of people, it's a wrapper. It's not the end of it, but I would say the dominant form of bringing products going forward will be in the form of ETFs.
And this is exactly what I have been mentioning over on X. I've been saying it in my previous videos. This is everything that we have been talking about. This is the start. It's all through the ETF. This just opened the door of opportunity for these institutions to go all in on crypto. Hedera, the XRP Ledger, Algorand, Stellar, Casper, all of these big utility giants, they are going to have a spotlight put on them. Hedera has been killing the tokenization game. The XRP Ledger is perfectly suitable for tokenization services, settlement services. This is the big thing to focus on with these ETFs. It's not the idea of how much money can we make off of these ETFs? No. It's what happens next? That's what we should be asking. What happens next? And I feel as though we just got the answer from Larry Fink. Now, like I said, Larry Fink and Blackrock are not our friends. No, but we are here. And we have been here for a while. BlackRock has been in the game for a little bit of time as well. BlackRock, JP Morgan, all of the big players, they've been here before because they understand how significant this market is, and it has been. They've seen the value in it, right? They witnessed the bull runs. They've witnessed the run-ups. They witnessed how much money flows into the space. They also know how much money there is to be made off of this space. So as we really look at what's going on, it's happening. And even over here, these are just stepping stones to tokenization.
Denied by the SEC, that's fine.
Meaning, let's just put a fine point on that. The industry, meaning companies like yours, asked the SEC to allow folks who might have owned shares via a Grayscale to be able to transfer those in kind to a BlackRock or to Fidelity or whomever.
And so that there would be no tax ramifications. That was not denied. They wanted to really just create from scratch cash only, which we all respect the SEC's reasoning.
That creates an opportunity actually for Grayscale to keep those customers for a much longer time.
It does, but I think over the long run, when you start adding up the fees and adding up the fees, people are going to start thinking about redeeming and then ultimately going into an ETF.
Longer term, do you now expect other cryptocurrency ETFs? Meaning, do you think that Gary, and we'll talk to him later, Gary
like Ethereum,
will have to approve an Ethereum ETF? And is that a function of something the SEC has to do, or do you think that all these things have to go to court first?
I couldn't respond to that. I see value in having an Ethereum ETF. as I said, these are just stepping stones towards tokenization. And I really do believe this is where we're going to be going. We have the technology to tokenize today. If you want to talk about, think about this. If you had a tokenized security and you have a tokenized identity, you, Andrew, the moment you buy or sell an instrument, it is known. It's on a general ledger that is all created together. You want to talk about issues around money laundering and all that. This eliminates all corruption by having a tokenized system.
Jamie Dimon disagrees with you on that, but, or at least to some degree. Let me ask you this before we let you go, which is there has been a massive backlash, as you know, around ESG. You have said that the phrase ESG has been effective.
So again, as we really look at tokenization, it's here, it's now, it's the big thing, it's the largest trend in crypto history. We need to focus on this. Again, with the spot Bitcoin ETFs, I mentioned this even before these videos came out, before Larry Fink started talking about them. This is January 8th. I even said that at the end of the day, this is the beginning of what's to come. Institutions are going to start embracing this space heavily. We are going to witness the flood of institutions jumping in now. It all started with the bigger players like Blackrock, for example, Fidelity, you name it. This is something that we need to watch. But also, I find it funny that there's so many people complaining about price action right now when we just witnessed something like this. I mean, when we really look at what's been happening in the XRP community for the last 2, 3, 4, 5 years, what's the one thing that's been going around the echo chamber? Institutions are coming. Institutions are coming. Institutions will be here. Institutions will embrace this technology. They will adopt this technology. They will implement this technology. They will utilize this technology. A utility bull run is coming. Well, guess what? This is the beginning steps towards that. We are so damn close. You don't want to fudge yourselves out of your bags. I say this in the most serious way possible because I feel as though everyone is forgetting the old ideology of why we first started to invest in XRP anyways. When we really look at what's going on, it's happening now. Things are starting, but so many people are clouded in terms of their judgment simply by price action alone. Stop making these mistakes. Clear your thought process. Come back down. Level out. Be neutral. Don't be feeling greedy. Don't be feeling fearful. Be completely neutral here. But also, tokenization. They already said 16 trillion by 2030. I feel as though this is nothing. The DTCC just acquired a blockchain infrastructure. This was securrency. Remember, the DTCC settles $2.5 quadrillion worth of securities transactions. This is going to be tokenized. This is $2.5 quadrillion worth of securities. Think about the securities market being fully tokenized. Now, again, it's not going to get tokenized all at once. It's going to take some time. But over the course of the next 6 years, by 2030, I feel as though it's going to be far more than just 16 trillion. I feel as though this is a very conservative outlook on tokenization. We are witnessing one of the largest shifts around traditional finance that we've ever seen in the past and ever will probably. This is the beginning stages. This is why the long-term outlook here is so incredible. And if you are early enough, and if you see the value, you will witness greatness. Now, with that being said, if you guys do want to go check out NordVPN, down in the description below, as it was in the comments below, guys, 63% off. Currently, right now, $3.99 a month, originally $8.29 a month. This is the best VPN out there from all of the offerings that it does have compared to all of the other major players out there. This is probably one of the biggest players in the space. You cannot afford to have yourself vulnerable through, IPs, things like that. This has everything all in one. VPN servers, malware scans, alerts, leaked credentials, trackers, and ad blockers. It's an all-in-one package. Guys, check it out. Links down in the description below, as well as in the comments below. And also even NordPass, the best password manager. Guys, check it out. Both links down in the description below. You can save a ton of money on both of these utilizing my link. And with that being said, guys, if you guys did enjoy the video, definitely leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications on if you guys want more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord in the description below. And with that being said, guys, this has been Nick. Peace out.